5 here on Friday Night Insights. We're past the midway point of the regular season. Ben still leads West, this being Ben Diggle, that being Wes Huett, by a single game.
Again,
half game more than the White Sox right now.
Not much
indeed.
longer.
I would like to protest, though, that I was not on the left last week. Rightful place in the first place slot.
Merely a graphical.
I think that's a plot by Wes as part of a.
Can't get left of Wes.
He's tight with the deskers.
Okay. We open every week with our surprises from the week before, and Ben's got a good one from out
DMAC way.
DMAC way.
The Chiefs found themselves down 22 with about 19 minutes left to play, and thanks to Jeff Hendricks, they came back to beat Hayworth 48-41. Hendricks ran for 180, or ran for 155, pardon me, and threw for 80. 4 touchdowns total. So, talked to Joe Blimboom.
How's there time for 89 points in a 32-minute football game?
You know what? The actually in the heart of Illinois, not the mid-state, heart of Illinois. There were an average of 62 points scored in each game last week in the heart of Illinois.
Did they play 12, maybe 15-minute quarters?
No idea. I don't know if they've gone pro on us or not, but it was.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I cited a basketball time duration, but still, DMAC used to shrink the clock and have about 2 possessions each.
Exactly. That's my
Now
favorite
it's
part about.
48-41.
That's my favorite part about small school football. You get like 4 possessions and a half, and you're out.
Wes, your surprise from a week ago.
East Peoria again. I know we've talked quite a bit about them, but a situation where they kind of deserve all the love they get after all the years of being trampled upon and running clocks and head in hand and hey, we're working to get better. They finally are better, and they went into Morton last week and put a sound beating on a good football team. For the first time, I remarked to the people in the press box at Morton that I saw East Peoria warming up, and I'm like, this looks like a football team for the first time in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
I mean, they have cool new uniforms, and that helps. But they got 2 defensive ends who are 6'5", 6'4", tough nose guard. They got a quarterback who make throws, receivers who make plays. And then when Morton sort of starts to slow down the pass, and they can line up in I formation and look good doing that. It was just a really nice win for a team on the rise.
It's funny. I was having breakfast with my brother on Saturday morning, and he opens up the front page of the sports section and he goes, "No way."
Yeah, East Peoria.
I mean, this is a kid who played at Metamora and was on the sidelines for their 77-0 thrashing of East Peoria.
It was
75-0
last year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just that.
Really?
Yeah, it was that.
And here we are looking at a game
this
that matters.
time. And that's this week, and we'll talk about it in a minute. But your game of the week's on this side of the river.
Quincy Notre Dame at Woodruff. Quincy Notre Dame takes the 3.5-hour bus trip to Peoria Stadium, and they're going to have a game on their hands.
Only to find no locker room.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, they'll be sitting in the end zone with all their
Then they go back to the bus to get changed.
Yeah.
But here we go.
Yeah, I don't think like the Peoria schools are going to get on their bus with their helmets and their shoulder pads on and drive for 3.5 hours. But last two times these teams have met, high scoring was 51-48 in overtime. The first game last year was 36-29, and every year as Quincy Notre Dame gets a big lead, Woodruff comes back but just doesn't have enough. I see it being a little more closer the whole way this time, and I think Q&D pulls it out. But this is the first chance for Woodruff to find out, are we a real team? This is the first real team they're playing. This is really going to help.
Is it size
be a
versus
benchmark.
speed or not that simple?
I don't think so. Woodruff's a little bigger. I want to say Woodruff's slow. They're not slow, but compared to what their defensive line and their things in the past have been, I think they match up a little more. They'll try to do a little more what Quincy Notre Dame does. And
I'm giving Woodruff the speed, with that track
I
team
know.
out there. Okay.
I understand.
And your game of the week, sir?
Mendota at IVC, 2 teams that have been spent some time in the state rankings. Mendota was there, fell out after a loss to number 5 Aurora Christian. IVC moved into the polls this week. IVC looked good last week. I thought they'd beat Hall a little more convincingly, but held on for that 21-20 win. But they get the full effect of their ground game back. They held out Jake Elias last week with an eye toward getting him healthy for this game. Elias ran, his counterpart, Lauber ran for 195 last week and looked good doing it.
That'll work.
Yeah.
I tried to misspell his name there for a minute in prime timers, but Gary caught at the IVC grad. Is Mendota scrappy like they were when I was in the NCIC?
Scrappy, quick,
tough.
Yeah, I mean they went up to Dixon last week.
Can of Copenhagen and every kid's.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Mendota. Okay. Go ahead.
No, that's
All
good,
right.
man.
How many
We
games
can't
has
follow
IBC
that.
lost
We'll
in
see
the
you later.
NCIC? I've been known to ask you questions you can't answer. But have they lost any league games since they got in it? Like a couple? I know they
Let's
had a
see.
5-4 year. The first, when they
No,
went
that
9-0.
was a Middle Illini year.
Middle year.
That was a Middle Illini. The last year, 2006, they were still in the Middle Illini. Have they lost in it? Yeah, they have lost an NCIC game.
Okay.
To Hall 2 years ago, I believe.
To Hall, yeah. To Hall
All
last
right.
year.
We got to roll through the big two.
All right.
Pick your Mendota IVC first.
IVC. Nail biter.
IVC.
I'm going to say Trojans just to get Rashid mad at me. And Woodruff QND, let's pick that before we move on.
QND.
QND.
I'm going to say Woodruff.
Yeah.
Just so I don't pick and it doesn't, I'm going about 280 in the NFL. I might as well pick that. All right, Manuel at Richwoods. Is that the easy one to lead off the Mid-State 6?
Yeah, Richwoods, they kind of feel like they didn't play well last week, even though they won by 2 touchdowns against a pretty improved Notre Dame team. Richwoods bounces back against a team that really can't score in Emmanuel.
Richwoods rolls.
Yeah. It's really a matter of almost scoring.
Yeah.
For Manuel versus winning.
Yeah.
A certain moral victory to just touch the end zone again.
Yeah.
Central at Notre Dame, the Irish's homecoming Saturday afternoon. Should be a little warm.
I like Notre Dame in this. I really do. I think they've played some close games throughout this year. In the exception of the IVC game where they kind of just got rolled out of the field, they played Limestone tough. They played Rock Island Alma tough. They played Richwoods tough. This is a time where the kids go in there, put on the field, and get a W for it this time. I think this is.
They get the payoff for all
They
the
get the
hard work.
payoff.
Big thing at Corwin Clatt. What is it, Clatt? Sorry.
Corwin Corny.
Corny Clatt is
Field.
what I want to say. Metamora at EP. 3-0 each in the Middle Illini. How far has EP come? Can they keep this thing down to 16-10-ish, or are they just going to get blown out like everybody?
That's a tall order. It's going to be a situation where I think they keep it close. Metamora is going to go on one of their, to use a basketball term, a run, where they'll put together 3 touchdowns in 5 minutes. And that's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Though it'll be 7-0 or 10-0 Metamora for a little bit. Maybe East Peoria gets a defensive touchdown, something like that. But Metamora will get that 3 touchdown distance and keep it the whole game. Maybe East Peoria wins it, gets within 2, and I just think.
Wow, what a specific chronology.
Yeah, and no,
You're
it
giving
really,
partials now. At the end of 3, it'll be okay.
No,
How
that's
easy
the
on
type of.
Metamora?
I mean,
yeah, I'm with you though.
If you've seen Metamora play enough high school football,
Yeah.
which I have over the last couple of years, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they have a certain mythology of the way they beat teams.
You'd love to think that this might be like the storybook ending where East Peoria gets this one and goes on to just dominate the Middle Illini, but I think this is where it ends, and not necessarily ends. But,
no,
not
it's a good
ends,
step.
but this is where the
Yeah, as long as they show up and hit
know.
them hard and don't make mistakes and say, hey, we deserve to be on the same field as these guys, then they can move on to next week, and there we go.
Limestone brings its porous defense over to Washington, which is coming off 2 shutouts.
Yes, 2 shutouts.
and this could very well be a third. I would have no problem seeing this as a third.
No, and that's I had to look that up and find out last time that happened. I mean, the Venturi teams were good, but I don't know if they ever rolled through 3 shutouts in a row.
So that's a couple Panther picks.
Yeah.
Morton at Canton, trap there, or is Morton going to bounce?
I like Canton this week. I talked to Chuck Wright. If the weather's nice, which I think it's going to be, that offense looked really good last week. Admittedly, it was against Limestone, but Morton kind of felt like it was kind of feeling sorry for itself a little bit after the loss to East Peoria. So
I think after a game like that, though, you tend to do that. But I think come Monday, that feeling probably went away, and it was probably replaced by anger.
You hope so. I mean,
they're going to catch an angry Potters team. I think
It's going to be a good game either way.
Are you guys picking it different?
Yes, different
know
for
it.
once. Canton.
Morton.
Canton. All right, Dunlap at Pekin.
I think we have
Couple
a different.
teams trying to get going.
Yeah, this is similar to the Notre Dame syndrome. Both these teams have played teams tough. Pekin more so than Dunlap. Dunlap's sort of been in that situation where they expected to be a little better than they are, and I think this is the time where they get that win.
I think Pekin's going to. I think Pekin's going to get
2
the
in a
payoff
row?
curve.
Is this rigged?
2 disagreements.
Yeah.
Okay, locks of the week. We know Wes. We just kind of darken his face for this. He sits
Mm.
out. I like Washington.
I'm taking Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's your
Dame?
lock of the week.
Notre Dame's my lock of the week.
With
Book
all
it.
the athleticism of, okay.
You said it was
Check.
straight face?
Check us Friday, Saturday morning in the paper, pjstar.com.